composure.
I knocked that gun
Stop
out
it.
your head.
No, you won't.
Mr. Wallace.
You sitting up here, you taking her side.
Come on.
You ain't even let me get a word in.
Stand up. Jerome, just give him a minute. Give him a minute.
The baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his.
Oh. So
Leaving her
she
voicemail
informs
thing.
you that she's having a baby and you're the father.
Yes.
Then you get a phone call from Mr. Dixon and he tells you, don't be too happy because the baby's mine. That Otis Hawkins, the man you believe to be your father, was dead.
Yes, ma'am.
But he's alive. And we found him for you. Jerome, please escort.
Enter the whirlwind drama of Lang versus Brown. Here we have Mr. Lang, jittery as a cat on a hot tin roof, alongside his mother, Ms. Lang, both itching to uncover the truth behind the paternity of little Janelle. Despite the swirling storm of doubts, Mr. Lang is crossing fingers and toes, hoping he's the dad. On the flip side, Ms. Brown and her mother are baffled by the Lang's anxiety, firmly believing Mr. Lang is the one and only dad contender, and they can't wrap their heads around why the Lang duo seems to be more detached than a loose tooth. The drama's just starting to simmer, folks.
Mr. Lang, you and your mother, Ms. Lang, have been waiting in agony to find out if you're indeed the biological father of your little daughter, Janelle. Now, although you have serious doubt, Mr. Lang, you want nothing more than for this child to be yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
And then it escalates to daytime TV levels of drama. Accusations fly and denials. On Sue, Ms. Lang, with the skepticism of a seasoned detective, throws shade at Ms. Brown, insinuating she's been cozying up not just to her son, but to Mr. Lang's supposed BFF, Mr. Dixon. But wait, there's a twist. Ms. Brown claps back, saying, Mr. Lang and Mr. Dixon are more like oil and water, not buddies. Strap in, because the plot's about to get as twisted as a pretzel.
Because I found out that Miss Brown slept with my son's best friend from the sandbox best friend. Think you know whether it's my son's or Mr. Dixon's.
Oh, really? Is that true?
No,
Ms.
that's
Brown?
not true, Your Honor. I've never slept with Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon and Mr. Lang have been not friends for a while. They've been going at it, trying to fight each other, trying to find each other.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the drama, relationship roller coaster, Ms. Brown takes us down memory lane through the tumultuous love saga with Mr. Lang, filled with more twists than a soap opera. She paints a picture of a man juggling women like a circus performer, with his mother playing the role of the master illusionist. Brace yourselves. We're diving deep into the emotional abyss.
With so many girls, and it wasn't her house. She didn't lie about him, she didn't lie for him, and then I find out she's lying for him.
Girl, why would I tell you the truth? It's my son. Knock it
Okay,
off.
I don't knock you for that.
Your mother lied for you, girlfriend.
No, I don't have no reason to lie for her.
Knock it off.
I don't have no reason to lie.
Listen, Morta, I want to understand. You were together, he was doing his cheating. Were you sleeping with anybody else
No.
as well?
Not that we know of.
The plot doesn't just thicken, it practically solidifies. The big reveal. Ms. Brown recounts the tale of Mr. Lang turning into a giddy schoolboy upon hearing about the pregnancy, parading the pregnancy test around like it's a trophy. Mr. Lang stands by her through thick and thin, proving to be her rock during the pregnancy saga, despite Ms. Brown's initial reservations about becoming a mom amidst her college adventures. But just when they thought they were on cloud 9, doubt rears its ugly head.
Did you have any doubts at that time?
Not at that time, no, I didn't.
And what made you start to have doubt?
When Mr. Dixon got in the picture, and he had told me to stop messing with her, the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his.
Oh, so
Leaving her
she
voicemail
informs
thing.
you that she's having a baby and you're the father.
Yes.
Then you get a phone call from Mr. Dixon and he tells you, don't be too happy because the baby's mine.
Yes, ma'am. Walking to her house, to her apartment, while I'm like walking down the street, things like that. Yeah, pictures together, hugged up.
Was this before or after the baby was born?
Before.
Twists and turns around every corner, doubts enter stage left. The plot thickens as Mr. Dixon whispers to Mr. Lang, suggesting a plot twist worthy of a blockbuster. Maybe he's the father? This seed of doubt sprouts into a full-grown tree of suspicion, with Mr. Lang catching glimpses of Mr. Dixon and Ms. Brown that make him question everything. The suspense is about to explode.
You are in the middle of the relationship.
No, I stayed out of the relationship. When they was going back and forth, I never got in it because
But she was always in it.
I was hoping that they would work it out. This thing over here, this is like
you were hoping.
that thing over there, that thing over there.
Listen.
I want to get this over with.
Respectful in the courtroom.
Okay.
And set that example for your children.
Every glance, every gesture could be a clue. Daddy drama. Despite the swirling storm of doubt, Mr. Lang dives into fatherhood, present at the birth, pen in hand, for the birth certificate. Initially convinced the baby is his mini-me, but Ms. Lang, ever the skeptic, points out the baby's unique features that just don't seem to match. Prepare for the revelations that will turn everything on its head.
You're saying she had sex with his best friend during the time she was pregnant or before?
She was.
Around when she got pregnant.
Up until this point, you were supportive. You thought you had a grandchild
Sure
coming.
did.
You were excited,
Yes,
ready
I
to be a
was.
grandmother. So in that moment, you said,
Wait a minute. No, the seed of doubt was planted. But I still told my son, don't be mean to her, don't be anything to her. I said, because you went there.
Communication breakdowns and plot twists. Oh my. The Great Divide. Miscommunications and accusations about Mr. Lang's wandering eye lead to a chasm as wide as the Grand Canyon, with Ms. Brown calling out Ms. Lang for fanning the flames on social media. What happens next? You'll need to see it to believe it.
So you all were there and cooperating?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
He was there.
she was only there. Like, I'm just here to see if this is my baby.
No,
When this
it's not
baby,
mine.
hold on, I'm talking. When this
I don't hold on,
grandbaby is
chick.
born, I'll be able to look at it and tell. That's the only reason she was there, to see for myself. Because once this baby comes out, I'll be able to tell if this is my grandbaby.
You're there, you cut the umbilical cord, you signed the birth certificate. When you looked at this baby, did you think the baby was yours?
Grab your popcorn. It's the big reveal. DNA drama. The tension reaches its zenith as the DNA test results are unveiled.
When it comes to 1-year-old baby Janelle, Mr. Lang, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
You have that kind of language in the courtroom.
That's a lie. Oh, that is a lie. Lie.
The DNA doesn't lie.
Baby. Oh.
The show starts with Ms. Nesbitt throwing down the gauntlet, aiming to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Mr. Henderson is the dad of her adorable, albeit quite loud, 7-month-old daughter, Zion. She's got her fingers crossed, hoping against hope that Mr. Henderson will step up to the plate after the paternity is confirmed. But oh, just when you think we're in for a simple paternity drama, the plot thickens like a stew on a cold winter's day.
Ms. Nesbitt, you are suing to prove to Mr. Henderson that he is the father of your 7-month-old daughter, Zion.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say that when the results prove you right, you expect Mr. Henderson to step up.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Henderson, you claim your case is simple. You say Ms. Nesbitt cheated on you with her neighbor during the window of conception, and he is Zion's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on to your hats, because just when you're convinced it couldn't possibly get more tangled than a ball of yarn after a kitten party, Mr. Henderson throws a curveball. He counters Ms. Nesbitt's claim with a blockbuster allegation. She was cozying up with her neighbor during the crucial conception window, throwing a giant, shadowy question mark over Zion's paternity. Brace yourself. This revelation is just the appetizer.
Were you there through the doctor's appointments, birth?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were?
Yes, Your Honor.
You signed the birth certificate. You even snuck down the stairs and signed it without my permission. You know the baby yours.
Yes, I did because
He did what, Ms. Nesbitt?
I went downstairs to go get my birth certificate, and his name was on there. I told him not his name on there because I had doubts from the beginning, but he snuck anyways and signed his name on there.
Oh, you had asked him previously not to sign it because you had doubts yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nesbitt drops a bombshell, admitting to a shadow of doubt over who the father really is, thanks to a one-off romantic escapade with her neighbor, Mr. Brown. This spicy encounter happened right before she discovered she was expecting. Now, Mr. Henderson's got his eyebrows raised so high, they're practically in orbit, especially since their attempts at starting a family had been fruitless for a year. What's coming up next? A witness who might just flip the whole script.
You said, I'm the father, I'm responsible, I'm gonna take care of this child.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why are you not taking care of the child and only bought some diapers?
Baby's not mine, Your Honor. I can't be no man that's taking care of another man's baby.
Okay,
especially
now
off the
I
love
want to
of-
understand that, your doubt. Because what it sounds like to me is you were at the hospital and you were really trying to convince yourself. Was a way for you to say, okay, I'm gonna stay in with this family, I'm gonna make a family, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna sign the birth certificate.
The drama reaches fever pitch. Enter Mr. Brown, called to the stand to spill the tea on his rendezvous with Ms. Nesbitt, which he cheekily labels as birthday sex. Mr. Brown is pretty confident he's not the father, arguing that the kid doesn't even share his dislike for mornings or his distinct lack of rhythm. Meanwhile, Ms. Nesbitt stands firm, insisting it was a once-in-a-lifetime slip-up, despite the texts that suggest their good morning. Exchanges weren't just about the weather. Strap in, the bombshell revelation is just around the corner.
He had sex with his cousin, and I felt very vulnerable about it, and, you know...
Yes, I did, but that was before her. She already knew about that.
You know, I received the inbox telling me she said that she had sex with my little black car and they had a baby. And I felt very astounded about it, so, I felt...
She told you before that when you were sitting in the car with your friend.
Just when you're convinced that you've seen every twist and turn possible, the moment of truth arrives. Drum roll, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did she also say I had slept with Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, she
But
did?
She told me she used the condom, Your Honor. And then not too long ago, she told me the condom broke, Your Honor.
Mr. Henderson, when she told you she'd also slept with Mr. Brown, but it was just one night, did you say to yourself, I know now this could possibly be his child, or you tried to just, you were living in denial?
I was living in denial, Your Honor.
Baby looked just like you. You took pictures with her.
Just when you thought the drama couldn't possibly escalate, the epic saga of Casey versus Ewing, Edwards, and Hawkins kicks off. Picture this. For a quarter of a century, Ms. Casey has been living the plot twist of her life, convinced by her mom that her bio dad is the late gent on her birth certificate. Meanwhile, Mr. Edwards is out there, claiming paternity rights like he's auditioning for a soap opera. Buckle up, because this paternity puzzle is just beginning to unravel, and oh boy, it's about to get bumpy.
Miss Casey, you say that for more than 25 years, your mother has told you that a deceased man who is listed on your birth certificate is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now another man, Mr. Edwards, is claiming he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Strap in for the emotional whirlwind, folks, as Ms. Case lays bare the soul-crushing journey of growing up fatherless, calling it a ride through the seventh circle of hell, but without the cool Dante guide. She paints a vivid picture of her quest for paternal identity, tossing us into the deep end of her emotional turmoil.
I do not know what the man looks like. I don't have a picture of him. I don't have anything about him, but he is on my birth certificate. My oldest daughter I passed Hawkins on to her. So I pretty much raised my kids the way that I have never been raised. I make sure that the mother and the father is in the home, and they know exactly who their father is, whether he wants to be there or not.
So, Mr. Edwards steps up, all but wearing a shirt that says Dad Material, convinced down to his marrow that he's the missing piece in Ms. Case's family puzzle, citing his family's unmistakable nose as evidence. This chapter dives deep into the heart and sometimes the gut instincts of paternity mysteries. But wait, there's more. The surprises have barely started.
She informed me then that he had been shot in the head by his brother and he was deceased. LaConda was 7 years old when I was told that. I didn't want to tell her until she got older. I didn't know how to tell her. And I'm telling you exactly what I was told.
And what was your relationship like? Were you all in a committed relationship?
Yes, ma'am, we was until he came back from overseas.
And Miss Casey, when did you hear that Mr. Edwards could possibly be your father?
Just when you think you figured it out, boom, Otis Hawkins, who was supposedly more ghost than guest, turns out to be very much alive. This bombshell sends shockwaves through the courtroom, flipping the script and potentially cracking the case wide open. Brace yourselves. This roller coaster is about to do a loop-de-loop.
So you reached out to her on social media?
I was looking.
You were looking?
I was looking for them. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I felt like this. We lost one boy. Losing this one. I'm not losing you. I'm not losing you. I don't even understand how I can tell. It's like the hair stands up on my back. She looks so much like my family. She's got everything that my mom had.
In an unexpected twist of fate, Mr. Hawkins, in a scene straight out of a telenovela, reveals he's been carrying around a picture of Ms. Casey for over 2.5 decades, hinting at a bond that could be thicker than the plot of this whole saga.
All these years, you've had Otis Hawkins on your birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor. Eventually, when I got over the age of 18, me and my husband sat down and we did a research. I got on a social network. I found Otis Hawkins, and he was in Natchez, Mississippi. They did not disclose if he was alive or deceased.
As the truth bubbles to the surface, the DNA tests are revealed.
You've been told for over 25 years that Otis Hawkins, the man you believe to be your father, was dead.
Yes, ma'am.
But he's alive. And we found him for you. Jerome, please escort Mr. Hawkins into the courtroom. You need to sit down? You okay?
Let me go up to the witness.
In the grand return of Ms. Austin, as the episode kicks off, you could cut the tension with a butter knife. It was that thick. For the third blockbuster appearance in paternity court, Ms. Austin strides in, ready to face off against Mr. Wallace and Ms. Roberts in the ultimate showdown over who's the daddy of her adorable, yet legally embroiled 9-month-old munchkin, Ronell. She's on a mission to prove that Mr. Wallace is indeed the father, and it's high time he stepped up to the plate. This juicy setup promises a roller coaster of emotions and some spicy courtroom drama. Let the games begin.
Ms. Austin, this is your third time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Ms. Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation. Today, you say you need to prove to Mr. Wallace that he is the father of your 9-month-old son, Ronell, so that he can begin to step up and be a father.
Just when you're sitting there, popcorn in hand, thinking things can't possibly get more dramatic, hold on to your hats, they do. Mr. Wallace, unable to keep his cool, launches into a tirade, hurling less than flattering nickname at Ms. Austin. This earns him a swift scolding from the unflappable Judge Lake and a one-way ticket out of the courtroom. This fiery exchange not only spices up the proceedings, but serves as a prime example of how quickly personal grievances can boil over in the hot pot that is paternity court. Things are heating up, folks.
So grow up not having no father in their life.
She is a whore. So perfect.
You
not gonna address a woman in this courtroom. Get out the courtroom, Mr. Wallace.
I never had anybody to show me how to treat a woman or to be a man or just need help on.
And that's why we're here.
So last time you were standing on the defendant's side with Roniel,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Wallace. Mr. Wallace, you back with Miss Robert.
Yes, ma'am.
In what can only be described as a scene straight out of a Wild West saloon, the courtroom erupts. A full-on brawl ensues between Ms. Roberts and Ms. Austin, turning the room into chaos central. Judge Lake, in a bid to restore peace in the wild lands of justice, calls for order, resulting in Ms. Roberts being escorted out. This moment of madness shines a spotlight on the fiery passions and simmering tensions that underpin this legal kerfuffle. But wait, there's more. Just when you thought we'd seen it all.
Since the last time we was here, everything started out okay, but we all knew that wasn't gonna last long. Roniel Wallace was still bouncing back from me and Kendra. I had enrolled in school, but I never did go because I had got pregnant once again with Roniel. And she got pregnant with her baby, with her son. And as you can see now, once again, I'm pregnant again with my third baby.
As we dive deeper into this saga, the plot doesn't just thicken, it practically congeals. Mr. Wallace, harboring a truckload of doubts about baby Ronell's paternity, thanks to Ms. Austin's social calendar, goes full detective. He reveals his secret weapon, spyware, used to snoop on her texts and calls, convinced she's been playing the field. This juicy tidbit turns the case into a veritable soap opera, rife with betrayal, jealousy, and a dash of tech-savvy snooping. What's next? A paternity test sponsored by a reality TV show? Stay tuned.
Mr. Wallace has been going back and forth between you two women, and you two women are still falling for. Why is there a doubt then, Mr. Wallace, as to whether or not her child is your child if you've been having babies with both of these women back and forth all this time?
Because she's very mischievous. When we was together, I had installed, it was like spyware on her phone. They would duplicate her text messages and call log and send a copy to my email.
Mr. Wallace. In a plot twist that no one, and I mean no one, saw coming, Mr. Wallace's frustration hits the roof and he decides he's had enough of this circus. Accusing Judge Lake of playing favorites and clearly overwhelmed by the avalanche of drama, he makes a break for it, trying to storm out of the courtroom. This bold move is a vivid flashback to his previous antics, painting him as the courtroom's resident drama king. But Judge Lake, ever the beacon of calm in the tempest, along with the mighty Jerome, steps in to de-escalate the situation. Will they manage to keep him in the courtroom? Only time will tell.
I knocked it.
Stop it!
No, you won't.
Mr. Wallace!
You sitting up here, you taking her side.
Come on!
You ain't even let me get a word in.
Stand up. Jerome, just give him a minute. Give him a minute. Mr. Wallace, I'm glad you came back. What I was trying to tell you before you left is I don't want you to make the same mistake again. When you were just speaking to me, you said you're taking her side. I'm not gonna let you leave here thinking I'm taking anybody's side.
And the results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father. I want to get you all some help.